Evaporating friendships, fracturing, a full-on psychological meltdown.
I'm still here.
You're still here. My least valuable friend is there's no problems with this friendship. Thank God. Donald Trump is the president. When me and Ray were in the studio last, it was election day, 7 p.m. We didn't know much. It was kind of looking more competitive maybe than the media had made it seem.
I mean, I just assumed they were early states. I didn't.
Right.
We
didn't know.
It's I guess the East Coast is Trump?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
So we leave this studio to head to an event. Chris Gethard, a friend of mine, very funny comic. His show, A Career Suicide, on it's off Broadway at the Lynn Redgrave Theater, is really popular, and you should go see it.
Check it out.
So he invites us, which I'm sure he doesn't regret at all. He invites me and Raymond to go to his special on public access TV. So we get in a cab.
I thought it was going to be a big break.
Ray thought it was going to be. Well, it was a break. It was a break. We get in a cab. We head on over there. When we get there, the mood is tense, but not. Describe
tepid.
it.
It was a tepid feeling in the room. There was some. Now these are improvisers, and they're dressed up like bananas. Not yet,
but the
banana came later.
The banana came later, but
there was a panel, by the way. It wasn't just us and Chris. There was probably 8 or 9 people on the panel. 8 or 9
people on the panel.
Desk.
But my point is with
characters up there.
With these improv people, they can't. It's hard to do tepid when you're dressed up like a carrot.
Right.
So we get there.
There was a weird tension in the room.
Right.
We didn't know. We
didn't know.
I honestly.
What do we know?
Yeah, I honestly, when I say, early states, this will settle out. It's not going to be Trump.
Right.
So we get there, and why is this should be a celebration. This should be Jubilee. What are these, what are these guys doing?
This should be a Jubilee. So, pouring fucking acid onto this fire is fucking me and Ray.
Right, well, Chris brings us on
the show. Public access, the Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Yeah, I mean, it's
how many people are in the actual room? 40?
40, 45.
40, 45 people. Chris, is very open about his mental issues.
Right, he's got a lot of depression,
anxiety, whatever. And his fans are also tackling those issues. Of that persuasion.
Yes.
Okay? So this ain't, and listen, my mother's a schizophrenic, which is mental illness. I know about mental illness. In the sense that, and I'm not taking away from anyone that's depressed or anxious.
We can take a little bit away.
We can take a little bit away, because my mom's real, there's no one-woman show, is my point.
The way I phrased it to you, we were talking about it, and the way I put it, I think, was that, there's being depressed, and then there's, family destroying mental illness.
I'm not taking anything away, because I know Chris personally has had a lot of issues.
No, we have issues.
But listen, who the people are in the audience, I don't know. I don't know. It's a spectrum. If I look at your Twitter handle and it's I'm Anxiety Man 1987, I'm like, I don't.
You gotta own it.
You gotta. You do you really? So we go in to this room.
Look, we agree that we were brought on
as comedians and as heels.
Yeah, well, because everyone across the board,
right?
Even Trump didn't think he was going to win.
He had no idea.
So we're brought on, obviously, as the counter argument to this highly liberal group.
Right. And they thought what was going to happen is she's going to be winning, and me and Ray are going to be yelling about the Federal Reserve, and it's going to be adorable.
Which we did, but it wasn't.
We did. The great Raymond was, where's the big bubble of money? And shut up, you white man! Shut up!
I mean, in all fairness, I think my...
Tell them what happened.
All right, so within... 2, 3, 4 minutes of being introduced,
right?
You get into a flat-out screaming match with the girl next to me. I don't remember exactly what brought it on. A
girl called up and said, "I'm afraid, young, lily white, You know, I live in the suburbs.
I take some of the blame because the first thing I asked was, what does your dad do?
Well, no, and this is a bit, me and Ray, one of the things that we think is funny is when you and I talk about this, one of my bits on stage, and you go to Williamsburg or Bushwick, all these people are so liberal, you go, what do you do for a living? And they don't even tell you, and then they go, well, you know, I work for Goldman Sachs or whatever, some fucking advertising agency. So we said to the girl, wouldn't it be funny if, like, her dad was the head of Raytheon or some fucking defense contractor?
Right.
Because she lived in suburban Maryland. The girl next to Ray was like, this girl is afraid, and you, a white man, a straight white man. Which whenever somebody calls me a straight white man, I go, ooh, thank you. And so it got bad.
It got ugly. It was very aggressive. I immediately had, I wouldn't say regrets, but like this did not.
Ray thought this was going to be his fucking moment, and fucking Gethard was going to scoop Ray up, and Ray and the rest of these freaks were going to go on some, you know, tour across the country, and Ray, because some of these people like you, they like you better than me.
Well, I didn't call them cunts, and
well, you're also one of their ilk, which is
I'm a little,
you know, you're a little out of the mainstream.
You're not exactly mainstream. Well, maybe now you are. Maybe now you are.
But when I go on a stage, I try to make people laugh. There is a social contract I have with the audience where I try to get by on actual. And
I do quite well on stage when I'm there.
When you're there a year ago. But these people like you. You're a little bit more their style of person.
Right.
Right. And so I saw that drain out of your face within a minute. I saw immediately that it was all over. It came crashing down. Me and this chick are fucking screaming. And Ray's trying to make smart points. He's like, well, it's got to realize about the Federal Reserve. And I'm like, shut up, you cunt! Shut your mouth!
To be fair, Chris, even in that atmosphere, because as we came on, was like basically coincided with the realization that this might happen. This victory.
Right. And we were not the comforting.
No, but Chris had not yet turned into that depressed mode about it because he was prodding me. Ray, what do you think about the Federal Reserve?
Right, he was right. So we're brought on as obstructionists. Yeah. We're brought on as the kind of the heel. It's supposed to be lovable. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, it starts to turn. And then,
basically, right after you guys stop screaming, people start crying. A banana, a guy dressed up like a banana starts sobbing. What am I going to do with that? And he's like, and I'm like, you look like a fruit, which I thought was funny. That was that? Yeah, it was not. I didn't catch that one.
People didn't like that. People didn't like that.
Didn't make the highlight reel?
He didn't make the highlight reel. And then the guy's like, he's like, I'm a plantain. I'm like, it's Trump's America. You're a banana now. You're a banana.
That stuff doesn't sound as good when it doesn't hit in a room like that. But,
yeah.
You know,
it's great. I'm doing it on stage. It's working.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in a room like that where everyone's just this echo chamber, you know, adult crying because of an election.
Right. Well, that's comedy. What comedy is now is get together in a room with people and to talk about what you're afraid of.
Right.
That's comedy.
At one point, one of these...
And listen, I'm not saying...
I love his podcast.
I'm not saying that people don't have reasons to be scared. If you're an undocumented immigrant, I get it. If you're fucking whatever. But the people in that room, you know, largely white, probably well-off, liberal... women, I mean, they're the ones seemingly taking this the hardest.
Right. And, like, he's having people call in, and I love his podcast where he has people call in. It's
never heard it. Keep going.
It's phenomenal. I think it's great. But it's long form. It's like he gets to know these people.
Great.
I don't think it necessarily fit this format. And these people are calling in from, like, swing states.
Conducting interviews. Yeah. Hello, Sarah.
Bringing nothing to the table.
Hello,
these people
Sarah.
are bringing nothing.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
one
not
guy
for me. It's
one
not for
guy
me.
in the midst of his chaos, where was he from? Missouri or whatever? One of these swing states going like, is there anyone with a political science degree
this
here?
Fuckhead calls up and goes, is there any... And by the way... we do devote a good amount of this show, and we're not even running from it anymore. It's our brand to satanic pedophile cults. And I had a realization. I said, Ray, all the kids that don't get fucking abducted in a satanic pedophile cult become these people. Like, he become Anxiety Man 1991 on Twitter.
I'm not sure why we're fighting.
Yeah, it's like, you could have been useful. You could have been useful to a senator who was just trying to connect with the Dark Lord.